What's good, gentlemen? Welcome to my review for Hawkeye Season 1. I finally watched the episode a little bit ago. Finally finished it, man. And as I kind of predicted and said on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in other videos, this is my favorite of the Disney Plus series. With one little caveat about that I will save for the spoilers discussion at the end of the video about that part, because that last episode got me. If you watched it, you know. But besides the last episode, this show was fucking amazing, man. I loved it. Kate was great. Hawkeye was great. It was great seeing Clint and Kate. Their chemistry with Jeremy Renner and Haley Seinfeld, both of them were absolutely fantastic. Yelena, of course, was the highlight of the show when she finally made her appearance at around in the last 3 episodes. She was great, man. Without further ado, man, let's just jump right in. So the show stars Haley Seinfeld, Florence Pugh, if I'm saying that right, Jeremy Renner, Aqua Cox, if I'm saying that right, Vera Farmiga, Tony Dalton, and many more. And the plot of Hawkeye is Clint Barnes and Kate Bishop shoot a few arrows and try to avoid being targets themselves. At least that's what it says on Google. But first off, we got praise the cast. Haley Steinfeld, my God, was absolutely amazing here, man. She was fantastic. I loved her as Kate. I thought she did an amazing job, and definitely she made me want to see more of Kate in the MCU, which I hope we do. I don't know if she's gonna be getting a second season where she'll be appearing. Well, she'll finally be appearing in that one, and then we'll be seeing her, make it into some of the movies or what have you. But I love Kate, and I can't wait to see more of her as the show progresses. Jeremy Renner, I thought, was amazing once again as Clint Barton, especially around in the later episodes. Like, there was this one episode where Clint loses his hearing aid, and he has to and he's trying to talk to his son, but he can barely hear. So Kate is having to write it down on a journal to telling her what he's saying, man. And the scene, and then stuff later on the last couple of episodes, man. It's just their relationship was really good, man. It was really heartwarming, man. Especially with something later on the episodes with with some of their interactions, man. I loved it, man. She was amazing. Florence Pugh is, of course, amazing as Yelena. She was the highlight of the show. She was the highlight of the season, man. Every time she was on screen, when she finally got introduced in episode 4, I think it might have been 3. I'm not sure, but when she get introduced, and then we finally got to see her in the 5th episode, when in the conversation she had with Kate over the macaroni and cheese, always saying Kate Bishop, referring to always by her full name, even in text messages, Kate Bishop. She was amazing, man. I love Yelena, and I hope we see more of her in the MCU going forward. She was absolutely fantastic, man. I loved her. The rest of the cast, that was great. Tony Dalton, I thought was great. Aqua Cox, I thought was also pretty good as Echo. The performance, the character itself, I was kind of iffy on, but I thought her performance was really good. So, I kind of mentioned a few of my pros with all that. First off, like I said, I loved Kate, I loved Hawkeye, I loved their relationship, and I loved a lot of their scenes that they had. The action scenes I thought were really good, especially in the latter half when we had when they were doing the car chase one, the one by the Christmas tree. I thought that one was also really good, and a few others I thought also turned out really, really good. Especially around the last part where the last episode where we have Kate and Yelena fighting in an elevator, because she's trying to obviously kill Hawkeye, and Kate's obviously trying to stop her, man. And they get this up in the elevator when Kate's trying to hit all the buttons to stop her from getting to 12, and Yelena just starts slapping her hand. It was absolutely hilarious, man. I love that scene. Their fight scene, when they're fighting through these different rooms, and the floor they're on was also hilarious. Love that. I already mentioned the relationship they had. I love their chemistry, and I love some of the certain scenes where they really get to bond each other. I already mentioned stuff when Hawkeye's talking with her kid, with his son. There was this one scene that was really heartwarming where, to try and avoid spoilers, there was something on that date that Clint missed with doing his family, so Kate made it up to him, man, and it was just a really heartwarming scene. The dog was, of course, amazing. I forget the dog's name. I think they just called him Pizza Dog. He was amazing every time he was on screen, man, but you could say it's cheap because it's the dog, and, who doesn't love dogs, man? But the dog was awesome, man. And I also, like I mentioned, the final episode was amazing, man. Probably my favorite of the finales from of the Disney Plus series we've done so far. That was probably my favorite final episode, minus one thing. And that one thing we'll talk more about in the spoilers discussion, but yeah, that's my little caveat. Which, why you gotta do me like this, Hawkeye, man? Why you gotta do me like this? But anyway, so I already mentioned that. I already mentioned Kate's relationship. Yeah, man. I think now, as far as like the only problems I had with Hawkeye, I think the only thing that really stuck out. First off, I didn't really think Echo was all that compelling as a villain, and I didn't really get like I said before. Alqua Cox, if I'm saying her name right, her performance was great, but I just for some reason I just didn't really gel with the character, and I was just kind of a little meh by her. Especially when you compare it to the other two quote unquote villains that appear in like the last couple of episodes. I just thought they were way better, but you could also see that I'm biased because of who they were and where they came from. But still, I didn't think she was all that to me. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all thought differently, but maybe you guys were really invested in her. But I just was kind of like indifferent to her, to the relationship, to her and like her revenge plot against Ronan, aka Hawkeye, because you know what happened with her. But like I said, I did think Alaqua, if I'm saying her name right, Cox, her performance was great. But yo, I also got praise, yo, Florence, yo, somebody get this woman a fucking Emmy, because her performance in like the last episode when we finally get the showdown between between Clint and Yelena, when she's like demanding her what happened because she thinks that Clint killed her sister, man. Oh, that entire scene, man, was absolutely legendary, man. And Florence's performance, man, she was so fucking good there, man. Like, bro, that whole scene, man, was probably one of my favorite parts of the entire show, man. I loved that. That was amazing, man. But yeah, the only other problem I would say that I had a problem with the show is that one thing that happens in the final episode. But like I said, I'm going to save that for the spoiler discussion, but y'all are walking a thin line right now, man. Y'all are walking a thin-ass line. But I'm going to try and stay optimistic. And I said I'll go more in depth in the spoiler discussion. With all that being said, guys, that's all I got to say in terms of spoiler-free for Hawkeye, man. Overall, I fucking loved it. Like I said, it was one of the best. It was probably my favorite of the Disney Plus shows. I loved it. The third episode onward, definitely when the show really got taken off. And I think I even tweeted out. This was either when the fourth episode came out or the fifth episode came out. That this is like my favorite episode of all the Disney Plus series. Like, I forget which episode it was. It was episode 4 or 5, man. But yo, that episode was absolutely legendary, man. I mentioned how much I love Yelena, and I love Kate, and how much I love her, the chemistry she had with Jeremy, and this whole relationship between the two Hawkeyes, man, as she's like this massive fangirl. And I also love the scene where Kate explains to Hawkeye why she loves him so much, and why he inspired her to become an archer herself, man. That whole scene was amazing. So it was like Haley Steinfeld performed, man. When this entire show was absolutely amazing, man. Seriously, shout out to that woman, man. She absolutely killed in this series. But anyway, guys, overall, I'm going to give Hawkeye, to the shock of absolutely nobody, a 10 out of fucking 10, man. With a major caveat on that rating, because of what happened in the follow-up. Because if not, I might have dropped it. But anyway, guys, we are now going to go into the spoiler discussion. So if you guys have not seen the entire sea of the show and you don't want to get spoiled, leave now. For everyone else, let's go. So, y'all motherfuckers better not have killed Kingpin. Because, now, I'm going to stay off to it. Now, apparently there's been a lot of people on Twitter saying that Kingpin has been ruined, that he's been nerfed. I'm not one of those people. I think they did a good job of showing him off. Because, like I said, this man took an arrow to the chest and just ripped it out with like nothing. He got ran over by a car. Multiple explosions to the face, and still managed to get back up from all that shit. So I think they didn't nerf Kingpin, but I will say that him wearing a Christmas shirt throughout the latter half of the episode was a bit off, but whatever. I think it somewhat kind of worked. But man, it was just so good to hear Vincent D'Onofrio again, hearing him speak in time of the holidays. I will give you an extra day to think this over. It was so good to hear him again, man. Like, You have no idea how much I've wanted to see this day. Ever since Daredevil season 3 got canceled, Daredevil season 4, I guess, Daredevil in general got canceled, man. I have yearned to hear Vincent D'Onofrio one more time. And after we saw that little cameo we got in the 5th episode, and especially, spoiler alert for No Way Home, Charlie Cox, and we saw Daredevil as Charlie Cox as Daredevil in No Way Home, man. It was so good just to see Vincent D'Onofrio again, him actually get words, actual dialogue in this episode, and just to hear his voice again. He did such an amazing job, and every time he was on scene, he was probably the highlight of the episode outside of Elena. But y'all motherfuckers better not have killed him. Now, like I said, I'm gonna try to stay optimistic because you had it where Echo finally meets up with her, and after she kind of figures out that Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, that Kingpin was the reason that was the one who sent out a hit that wanted her father dead and all that shit. She finds him and then grabs out her gun and shoots him. Now this is like the one thing that I'm like kind of that I'm giving them giving them the benefit of the doubt with and trying to stay optimistic with. They pan the camera away from the whole thing. All you heard was the gunshot. Now, if you guys have been reading or been in the know with comic books for as long as I have, if not longer, you would know that there are rules to this certain thing. This is like a horror movie. There are rules that to be fair, don't really get followed all that much, but is a general rule of thumb to follow comics. If you don't see the body, he ain't dead. So, like I said, we never saw the body. Even when you do see the body, they usually come back anyway because it's comic books. So, we never saw Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk body. All we heard was a gunshot. And remember, he took an arrow to the chest and ripped it right out. So for all we know, he could have been wearing a bulletproof vest under this thing. And the shot just took him out, she left, and then he got right back up. I am trying to stay optimistic here and want to give the rise a benefit of the doubt and not think they're actually that fucking stupid to kill off one of the best characters in all of the MC. So, like I said, I'm going to stay optimistic and hope that the Kingpin was not actually killed off, and instead they're just like, I don't know, planting seeds for season 2 of Hawkeye. I don't fucking know. Or maybe something with, I don't know, Spider-Man 4 or something. I don't know. I just hope and I pray that they did not kill off Wilson Fisk. I hope they didn't. Otherwise, I am going to be a very angry man. A very angry man, ladies and gentlemen. A very pissed off man. But anyway. Besides that little thing with the ending where they better not have fucking killed him. I swear to God. It's like that same shit with Venom, man. They're like, oh, Venom's in the MCU now. Psych! You know, it's like the same thing. Oh, hey, Wilson Fisk is in the MCU. Psych! You know? So, like I said, I'm going to stay optimistic and give them the benefit of the doubt because we never saw the corpse. That Wilson Fisk is most likely still alive. And apparently, word on the street is, I saw this from MCU Direct, that apparently there was actually going to be a post-credit scene with Wilson Fisk that got cut because instead we got the musical. Now me personally, I know a lot of people had some issues like, oh, fuck the musical was cringe. I enjoyed the musical, I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it for what it was, man. And you also had the ending where Hawkeye finally visits his family. You have his wife, Hawkeye gave his wife this watch with like the SHIELD logo on the back. It's a fucking Rolex, which I found hilarious. And apparently some people are saying like, oh, this might be setting up that she'll become a Mockingbird, I think is what the character's name, or it was Mockingjay. I forget what it is. I don't know this character. I don't really care because, like I said, I'm not very well versed in Hawkeye comics, or at least for now anyway, because as you guys, I mentioned this in my first impressions video that I bought the entirety of the 2012 Hawkeye run, which the show obviously took major inspiration from, as well as the Kate Bishop, trades that followed this. I bought them all in Comixology. It only cost me like $10, a little over $10 for everything, man, which was a steal. Yeah, because that's about as much as you spend on like one trade, man. So it was a bit of a steal, man. So I'm obviously gonna, now the show's obviously over, I'm obviously gonna get back to reading it because I love the first issue. I thought the first issue was really good, man, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. Also, I love the fact that they actually gave. I love that they actually gave Hawkeye his comic, his like same suit he kind of wore in the 2012 run. I also found hilarious that Kate was losing her shit. Like, oh, you're wearing the costume. You're wearing the costume. It looks so cool. Because let's be real, that was probably the same reaction as all the fans, as all the hardcore Hawkeye fans or fans of Hawkeye that read the 2012 run. They're like, he's wearing the suit. He's wearing the suit. He's wearing the suit. You know. So that was fun. I also loved those guys. I forgot to mention my spoiler-free in my spoiler-free portion, but I love the other supporting characters like the black guy and the rest of those like fantasy, role players or whatever they're called, Middle Ages role players, the guys in the suits of armor. And I love that whole part of the episode where Hawkeye actually had to actually had to role play with this just to get the Ronin suit back from the black dude. That whole scene was hilarious, man. I thought funny when shit hits the fan and they're all trying to and everyone's running away and they're trying to like direct traffic. They put the suits on. They're like, oh, this way. That whole scene was hilarious, man. Also, I thought the bit with the owl and the Pym particles hitting that train was hilarious as well, or the truck rather. That scene I love, man. That was also great. Oh, I almost completely forgot. Yo, I got to talk about this when we finally figured out what Yelena was up to, what she did between her move during Infinity War. So we find out that she actually got blimped, and she went into this bathroom. She got blimped, and when she actually reappeared back, yo, I loved how the way the room transitioned. It reminded me so much of like when like the walls in Silent Hill get all rusted and shit. It reminded me so much of Silent Hill when the walls transition. Yelena realized it's been 5 years, and of course Natasha's dead because of what happened in Endgame, man. Bro, that whole scene was so fucking awesome. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. I completely almost forgot to mention that throughout this entire video, man. But hey, I got it to mention here, man. That was also one of my favorite parts of the show, man, was just seeing Yelena, what happened to her during Infinity War, and if she got blimped or not, and all that shit. And actually seeing it from someone that did get blimped, seeing like the walls transformed and everything. Oh, that whole scene with the wall transition looked amazing. Like I said, very Silent Hill-esque, and I loved it, man. But yeah, okay. But anyway, guys, that's all I got to say from Hawkeye. First, that's everything I wanted to mention about the show, man. Like I said before, I loved it. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. And do you think Kingpin's dead? Do you think he's still alive? Are you trying to stay optimistic like me, or are you cursing the writers at this current moment? Leave that all down below in the comments, man. And anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram at Tory Flag, links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.